2025 NFL schedule has officially been released, and today we're going to be breaking down the top 5 weeks of the upcoming NFL season. The weeks that you got to make sure, honey, we're not going apple picking this Sunday. Great football games are going to be on. I'm going to prepare you guys for that. How did I come up with this? Let me tell you my little algorithm. If you're like, nah, screw that, let me just see the weeks, timestamps in the description. The algorithm was pretty simple. I went through each and every single week and ranked the games. Are they great? Are they good? If they were great, it was double points. The point total added up. The week with the most points, that ended up being the best week, and so on and so forth. You understand how the rankings worked there. It's a little nerdy, but I enjoyed it. As well, I want to give a shout out to the NFL. I thought that they did a really solid job spreading out the good games this schedule, and I really think they put an emphasis on making sure on holidays like Thanksgiving and like Christmas, there was some great football games on. Let's hop into today's video. All right, so at number 5, I have week number 5 of the NFL season. It starts off with a crispy Thursday night football game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. This has been the two best teams in this division over the last 3 years. If San Francisco could stay healthy and get that defense right, I do think they can compete with the Rams for this division, and they should be healthy in week 5, at least relatively healthy. So this should be a fun game. We got Vikings Browns as the London game. That's meh. Maybe Shador will be starting. Raiders Colts kind of meh. Giants Saints kind of meh. Cowboys Jets kind of meh. We have to have some kind of meh games to make sure we get some really good teams playing each other. And what I think could be a potential Super Bowl matchup at 1 o'clock on CBS, we have the Denver Broncos versus the Philadelphia Eagles. That Broncos defense, I don't think it's a stretch to call it top 5 in football. They brought in Dre Greenlaw, they brought in Hufanga, both of which I believe should be on pace to be healthy for this game. I know Greenlaw's got that shoulder injury, but he seems set to go. Bo Nix in year 2. What could Sean Payton do with that offense? And of course, the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, etc. You know, that AJ Brown and Devonta Smith versus Pat Surtain and Jahdae Barron, that's going to be one of the best wide receiver DB matchups of the season. Dolphins Panthers, kind of a sneaky fun game. Could see some points there. Texans Ravens, I think is a great football game. 2 playoff teams, 2 teams that have won their division in back-to-back years. Now, the Christmas Day game last year was a little lackluster, but if you remember, that was a short week for the Texans. They were just coming off the Tank Dell injury. The offense didn't have a lot of firepower. They were bringing some guys into the situation, into the fold. The Ravens were really hitting their stride. I expect a much more competitive game this time around with the Texans, especially with their offense hopefully being healthy. They brought in Jaden Higgins. They brought in Jalen Noel. So they should be able to compete at a higher level. Titans Cardinals could be interesting. Cam Ward versus Kyler Murray. Buccaneers Seahawks, I think, is another fun game. I think it has shootout potential on it. Can Sam Darnold move the ball with this Seahawks offense and keep up with Bake Show and the Buccaneers? Lions Bengals, that's a fantastic game because the Lions defense, it's decent, but without Aaron Glenn and without a true really solid pass rusher next to Aiden Hutchinson, I expect the Bengals to be able to move the ball, and we know that Lions offense is going to be up and down the field on the Bengals. This has a point total over 70 potentially. I could see it happening. You know, we could be looking at a 38-35 victory here for either one of these teams. Commanders Chargers, another great game. 2 teams that took a step forward last year, a step that some predicted for the Chargers, not a lot predicted for the Commanders, but now going into this year, both teams have made improvements to their roster and feel like they can compete for a Super Bowl. This is a week 5 matchup that should be very interesting to see where these 2 teams stack up. You got Jaden Daniels, you got Justin Herbert, 2 top 10 quarterbacks in the sport. Should be really, really fun. The Sunday night game, Patriots Bills. Are the Patriots ready to compete with Buffalo for this division? I think it might be a year early, but I think that these games will start being competitive. And then on the Monday night slate, Chiefs, Jaguars. You got, of course, Pat Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid, but this new Jaguars team with Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas, Liam Cohen. This could very much be a statement win for Jacksonville if they were able to get it done on Monday night, primetime, standalone home game against Kansas City. The number 4 best week of the NFL season is going to be week 13. And yes, that is Thanksgiving week. And Thanksgiving, as I mentioned, is absolutely loaded with great games. The Packers versus the Lions, division rival. At this point in the season, it's going to be week 13. So guess what? These are going to have some real implications on who is going to win the NFC North. I think any one of the 4 teams really has a shot this year, so every divisional game really, really matters. Chiefs, Cowboys, if Dak Prescott is healthy, I expect this to be a fun game. They already got spreads out for this game. Kansas City -5.5. Are you laying the points already, I suppose? And Bengals, Ravens to close it out. Last year, these two teams had 2 absolute banger football games. I expect nothing less this year as Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins and that offense will continue to make games competitive if the Bengals can get that defense up to par. We got Bears, Eagles on Black Friday. That's going to be a really fun game. I expect by week 13, Ben Johnson's going to have that offense rolling with DJ Moore, Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift, and Caleb Williams slinging the rock. And again, defending Super Bowl champs. Then we move to Sunday, 49ers, Browns, meh. Jaguars, Titans could be interesting. I could see both of these teams kind of competing and on the verge of a wild card spot if things go their way. Texans, Colts is meh. Saints, Dolphins, meh. Falcons, Jets, meh. Cardinals, Buccaneers, I think could be a sneaky shootout, sneaky fun game. Rams, Panthers, if Bryce Young is who he is, could have some fun potential. Vikings, Seahawks, this game absolutely slapped last year. Now Sam Darnold on the other side playing his former team. I think that this has a really fun game written all over it. Maybe you don't think it when you see these two teams initially, but I'm telling you, I think it's going to be really, really fun. Bills, Steelers, maybe if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, it could be interesting. Raiders, Chargers, I mean, these games are usually pretty competitive. The Raiders have made strides to be better. Broncos, Commanders, that is going to be a really, really fun Sunday night football game in my estimation. Could it be a Super Bowl matchup? Maybe. I would realistically only see one of those teams potentially able to make a run. It'd be real shocking if they both did, but it could be a similar situation in the NBA this year where if we get like a Knicks Timberwolves NBA Finals, Broncos Commanders Super Bowl, both teams with second-year quarterbacks, teams that are looking to make that next leap. Really fun matchup there. Giants Patriots, it's Giants Patriots. I don't love it, but the part of this schedule that carries is the Thanksgiving games. This, and combined with Black Friday, you will be glued to your football screen. The third best week of the NFL season is actually week 1, the week that we start off with Cowboys, Eagles, Sunday Night Football. I'm on the record saying that they could have had some better games here, whether it had been Lions, Rams, Commanders, etc., whoever it would have been. But Cowboys, Eagles is still Cowboys, Eagles. It's a fun rivalry. Everyone is going to be absolutely just dying for football when this game happens, and I can't wait for it. Chiefs, Chargers, going to be a great game. I'm seeing a lot of people in their early predictions picking the Chargers to win the AFC West, so a game with some real implications. And again, I talked about this a couple of videos ago, but if the Chargers can win this game in Brazil and make the Chiefs start 0-1, a very big statement game. Also super cool in my opinion that it's on YouTube for free. Buccaneers, Falcons, these games last year were really, really fun. We saw it at the end of the season as well. Penix, Baker Mayfield should be a fun matchup. Bengals, Browns is, maybe if Shador's out there starting, it could be interesting. Dolphins, Colts, Raiders, Patriots, kind of sneaky interesting because both of these teams think that they're ready to take a leap and be a wild card team, but one of them probably shows us who they really are. Cardinals, Saints, you throw that game away. The Saints are going to be so bad this year. Steelers, Jets. If Aaron Rodgers is playing for the Steelers, you got to at least keep an eye on this game. Giants, Commanders, Panthers, Jaguars, actually sneaky kind of fun in my opinion. Titans, Broncos, Cam Ward, #1 pick, so to have the hype to it. 49ers, Seahawks, Now let's get into this stretch of some really great games. This is a 3-game stretch of perfection from the NFL. Lions, Packers. We talked about this already because we just talked about it as the Thanksgiving game. So kind of repeat what I said there. This division, every single divisional game really, really matters this year. And the Lions going on the road to Green Bay to open up the season, Detroit a -1 favorite in the early line. So if you're a Packers fan and you're like, hey, we're not losing the home game, maybe now is the time to get the juice on it. But Detroit, what are they going to be without Ben Johnson, without Aaron Glenn? They have so much talent on their team. And the Packers, I thought they had a questionable offseason. Can they kind of prove me wrong immediately with an instant W? Texans, Rams, two teams that were eliminated in the divisional round last year, two teams that it feels like they made improvements this offseason. Can the Texans offensive line hold up? What will that look like against Jared Verse and Braden Fisk? What does this Rams offense look like against one of the better defenses in the NFL in Houston? I think Houston might actually be the best defense in the NFL this season. So this will be a really fun game. And then, of course, Ravens, Bills, divisional round rematch, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Need I say any more? And then on Monday, we close it out with the Vikings, Bears, another really fantastic game. Two NFC North divisional games to open up the season. You love to see that. It's the best division in football, in my opinion. I think the Vikings, I'm not sleeping on them. I think that not only could they win the division, but if JJ McCarthy performs, they could be Super Bowl contenders. The Bears, they are an exciting team. They are an exciting team, especially in week one. What does Ben Johnson do to that team? We have some real banger games in week one. In second place, I have week 14 of the NFL season. That December football gets rolling with Cowboys Lions. We remember the infamous Cowboys Lions game a couple of years ago with he didn't check in, but he clearly talked to the ref in terms of the offensive lineman for the Lions. They got screwed out of the game. What does this game look like going forward? Again, if the Cowboys are full strength, I think they have enough offensive firepower to make this a really fun Thursday night football game. Seahawks, Falcons, don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. I think it could be a really, really fun game. Titans, Browns, I mean, it could be Shedeur versus Cam Ward, which for a while was the number 1, number 2 pick in the draft, and then Shedeur goes to the 5th round. Bears, Packers. Again, any of these NFC North divisional games, they got me glued to the screen. Commanders, Vikings, I think that is a really fun game. I think it's a potential playoff matchup. Again, obviously a lot on the Viking season hinges on what JJ McCarthy is, but if he is just a middle of the pack quarterback, they are going to once again be a playoff team. The Commanders I mentioned have real Super Bowl aspirations this year. Dolphins, Jets, meh. Saints, Buccaneers, meh. Jaguars, Colts, meh. I'm a sucker for Steelers Ravens. I grew up in the 2000s, the 2010s, when this rivalry was really peak. I remember watching Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs defenses against Big Ben and Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. And then on the flip side, you had Flacco, Ray Rice, and Troy Polamalu. And so I'm a sucker for these games. Even when the Steelers are bad, they're still competitive, and they are competitive with the Ravens. TJ Watt and that defense, I think, does the best job of any defense against Lamar Jackson. So what could I say? I'll be seated. Broncos, Raiders could be sneaky fun. Bengals, Bills. Oh my goodness. Josh Allen, gonna be a very, very fun game. Again, shootout potential. Rams, Cardinals. They had a sneaky fun game towards the end of last year. I mean, I'll be watching Bengals Bills, but I can't wait to watch this one back. Texans Chiefs, rematch of a playoff game. You know, again, I think the Texans defense is good enough to compete with anybody, and we'll see what they could do against Kansas City on Sunday Night Football. And then a potential Super Bowl matchup on Monday Night Football. Eagles, Chargers, should be really, really fun. There's been a lot of Jalen Hurts versus Justin Herbert quarterback debates this offseason. Maybe this is the game to settle that. And then what I believe is the best week of the NFL season is week 17, the Christmas gift from the NFL that keeps on giving. 3 excellent games on both Thanksgiving and Christmas. I talked about it in the beginning of the video. It was a sneak peek because Cowboys Commanders, gonna be a fun game. NFC East rivalry game. I think I think, you know, right now where I'm at, the Eagles are going to repeat as division winners. I think that they are a tier above these two teams, but this is going to be a battle for who comes in second in the division if both teams stay healthy. And this could be very well the game that decides it. Lions, Vikings. These are my top 2 teams in the division as it currently stands. Again, another game on Christmas that I think could decide the division. Broncos, Chiefs. You know, these battles are always fun. That Broncos defense, do not sleep on them. I think they're good enough to knock anybody off their game, including Patrick Mahomes. Cardinals, Bengals, shootout potential. Ravens, Packers, what a game that is. I feel like we haven't seen that matchup in a while, but Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Lamar Jackson, Jordan Love, Harbaugh, Matt LaFleur in Lambeau in December could be a snow game, could be really, really fun. Giants, Raiders, meh. You know, if we're gonna have some banger games, we gotta have some sleeper games. Texans, Chargers, rematch of the playoff game from the wild card round. Can the Chargers kind of avenge the performance that they put on, or do the Texans just simply have their number? And could it be another playoff preview? I think it's a very likely potential outcome that the Texans are the 4 seed, the Chargers are the 5 seed, and they play again in the playoffs. This could be a 2 weeks out preview. Seahawks, Panthers could be more fun than we expect it to be, if we're being honest. And these are like flex games, so you know, we'll see what happens there. Some of them are going to be played on Saturday, some won't. Steelers, Browns, meh. Saints, Titans, meh. Jaguars, Colts, eh. Buccaneers, Dolphins. Battle of Florida could be a really fun shootout game. Obviously, I know the Jags playing Florida, but you know, a Florida battle there, I should say. Patriots, Jets, meh. Eagles, Bills. I may be biased because my dad's a Bills fan. I'm an Eagles fan. I think we're going to this game. I think we're going to have a great time. I think the Eagles are going to win. Yeah, I said it. But no, on full transparency, could have been the Super Bowl matchup last year. Was the Super Bowl matchup I was rooting for last year. Glad that we get to see it this year. Bears, 49ers. If the 49ers stay healthy, again, could very well determine some playoff seeding on Sunday Night Football, and Rams, Falcons on Monday Night Football as well could have playoff implications. I think Week 17 has so many potential playoff altering matchups, some great battles from Christmas on to Sunday. You absolutely love to see it. But again, guys, these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. So those are my top 5 weeks in the NFL season. What did I miss? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, but you love the NFL, what are you waiting for? Smash that button. I appreciate your guys' support. I will catch you next time. Peace.